Dick showed him a few times how to do it.
All set? All right, so where are we at here?
We are
Ann's Weeds.
right, Article
Well, not Ann's Weeds.
Article 22, 23, and 24, and 25 are all ands. And 26.
PCs.
Okay, I'm just envisioning the conversation we're gonna have around Article 22.
It's
What
Well,
is
it's
it? Like, what,
changed.
I don't have the thing, so I don't know what you're
That's the
talking about.
weeds.
the water
Oh,
chestnut,
yeah.
but it's different funding.
What do you mean it's different? It's the same
Not-
issue, right?
Well, it's same issue, but it's not coming out of CPC funds.
We have a, Mendon Land Bank, which, like, about 12 years ago, before we had the Community Preservation, Act, before that was passed, A&P Power Plant needed an easement through Mendon, and so I think they gave the town like $1.5 million. And so I worked with the state to set up Mendon Land Bank, and so money got put into that from A&P. And we've used most of the money except for about $37,000, and it's sort of like obsolete now because we have the CPC open space money, so, you know, I thought that maybe for some of the projects we should use that.
Okay, so that's fine, but there's always a lot of kind of snickering and giggling about, we were supposed to do this like one or two times. It seems like every time we turn around, we're pulling the weeds out
Yeah.
again. So people are frustrated that we still have to pay for this. So what,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
can we
it's-
expect to have to perpetually do this now?
No, it's, the density, it's a 9-acre pond, and the density on the pond with the weeds, it was dense weeds on 8 acres of it, and now the denseness is only in 1 acre of the pond, so we're definitely making improvements. It was more when they initially evaluated it, they thought it was gonna be a 3-year project, but then as they've gotten in there, it was just way more weeds and seeds than they thought. So,
Just out of curiosity, how did these invasives get there in the first place? Do we know?
well, they were used as ornamental plants in people's, like, water gardens, I think, like,
And then they took root and went wild.
yeah, and they go crazy, and then they went crazy. And if you look around the ponds in Mass, they are just like choking so many waterways. It's
Really?
yeah, and they're just really rough. But eventually, we should be able to hand pull them, just like in your garden. Once you get over control of your weeds, you can just hand pick them. So, and so the full project's $14,000, but the town would pay $6,000, and then trustees of reservations again would pay $8,000. So the town hasn't been covering the cost of this project, any of the times that we've done it.
So obviously, the trustees find it important enough to
Oh, yeah.
put in the money, so
Yeah, and and I have reports which I sent Kim, and if you're interested, I can send them to you, and you can see, we're making headway. And at this point, to pull out of it, it just, I don't think would be a good idea.
So how much longer do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I think that probably next year, they'll have to do some mechanical removal. It'll probably be less, and then after that, I'm hoping hand picking. But the warm weather, and, it's just been hard.
I think the other thing to realize, and I hear this a lot as well, why don't we use this money, or why can't we use it for like nutmuck? And it's a different situation where you have an invasive species that you're trying to control, which is harder than just treating, native species that are in a lake. So to me, it's a different issue, but.
It's also not, it shouldn't be ongoing, although it seems like it's ongoing because it keeps coming up. But it's, it should end.
Right.
So,
I don't know how it ever would. I mean, if you don't get every last bit of it out, it always has a chance to come back again,
well, it's
right?
like your garden. That's why the hand weeding, we'd have to set up volunteers to do it. And it's actually, I know we've had this conversation, but it's actually kind of a fun thing to do when you go on a boat, because we've had a volunteer thing where you hand weed, you're on a boat, and it's a very pretty pond, you're in wildlife, and, so there are odd volunteers like myself that, would do this.
I could think other things I'd enjoy better than that, but.
It's actually nice,
You like to
being
edit
outside.
the documents, she likes to
That's-
pull the weeds.
That's right. All right, next one.
I don't know what it is, because I don't have the,
It's the
Trees and shrubs on Route 16.
Muddy Brook.
yeah, and that also would come out of the land use, the land bank. And that's the 350th committee was requesting that. They want to sort of make the entrance to Mendon look more attractive, and native trees and shrubs would be used.
And that would be on the open space, right?
Yes.
So even if we had a business interested there,
Right,
they
it
wouldn't
wouldn't
come in
interfere
and
with
tear them
that.
down.
Right.
Oh, that's not, yeah, good. And it looks like the next one's from Mendon Land Bank too, right?
What,
Says
Surveying.
Surveying?
Pleasant Street.
yeah, I think I'm going to take that one off because it's land that the town owns, and I talked to Fred Lapham, who was here earlier, and he generally says he knows where it is, and it's basically in a swamp, a marshland, which is really nice wetlands, but it's not going to be built on or anything. And I thought it would take like $3,000 to have it surveyed, but it'll be more like $8,000. So I think that we'll just leave it right for now, so I'm going to take that off.
Okay.
That's a little too expensive.
What would you plan on doing with that?
Well, it's not land that was bought, it's land that, it was a tax taking, I think, at some point, but it's just good wildlife habitat, and it's near the Meadowbrook uplands that the town recently bought, so it has Atlantic cedar, white cedars on it, which are actually pretty rare, so it's just good wildlife habitat.
And there was other talk of access from that point, is that correct?
There's another,
Potential.
like, little 2-acre piece that's an old cranberry bog that doesn't touch Pleasant Street, but it has an easement to Pleasant Street. So at some point, I want to find out if the owner is willing to sell that. And it shouldn't be too expensive because it's all swamp again. But it would give the town access to Pleasant Street, which would be good for a trail. The trail connection that we're trying to connect all the open space properties. But that's not happening right now.
Okay.
So that I want to pass over and not put it on. You can take it off.
So we can,
Okay, but the balance of the CPC agrees with that?
I have to go back to them, but I think they will when, I explain, it's like more than twice than what I thought it was going to cost, so,
But she wants to take it off.
Yep.
You don't need,
yeah, I don't think they'll argue.
All right, Glenn, that's a good question.
I get that, but if the rest of them
That's a
voted to
good
put
question.
something on and they don't agree,
Linda.
they might not want to take it off.
Just to let you know, there's a number of properties around town that the town owns that, in the next fiscal year, now that I've gotten caught up with tax title and sort of have developed a routine there, my next thing is to sell any of the excess properties that we have. 15 Pleasant Street is one of them, but many of them, like that one, are, there is questionable, the location of them is questionable. We think we know where they are, but the descriptions come from deeds that are so old that they refer to, landmarks and not real meets and bounds. So, I'm working on that, just to let you know, there'll be this one, as well as quite a few others, that will come before you. And, we'll have to make a determination which ones can be sold just off the books, or I should say back onto the books, because right now they are doing nothing, and which ones are part of a larger plan that the town is interested in keeping.
Okay. 5-year land use plan, that's something we,
Is that the one we were going to talk about, we skipped over?
which one? The land use plan?
Yeah, didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, but we do have to have this on this town meeting
Yeah, I
for
sent
approval
you-
anyhow.
Yeah, I sent you the open space and recreation plan. Did all of you guys get that?
Trail bylaw. Trail bylaw.
Yeah, that we don't have any kind of guidelines for any of the trails. And Shirley started this, and then I picked it up, and it's been scaled way back. It's pretty basic, but the land use committee's looked at it, conservation's looked at it, planning board's looked at it, the bylaw committee, and, everyone has agreed on it. And I think I passed a copy by you several times, and I can pass it by you again if you want. But
Yeah.
it's pretty common sense and, just so there's some guidelines. And more could be added later, but at least it gets it in the town bylaws.
I worked on that on the land use committee, and we addressed some controversial pieces, and I'm pretty comfortable with what we've produced. Adult Entertainment Overlay District bylaw.
Yep.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah.
I believe this is to address some required changes to the bylaw.
I presume this is straight from town council.
Indeed, it's straight from Bill Ambrosino,
Wow.
who was working with council specifically on these zoning issues.
They have a different town council than we do, don't they?
Yes.
Well, we
So
need
which
to
town
make
council do they work with? Ours or theirs?
Theirs.
uh,
But our town council supplied an original draft, sample copy bylaw that they used.
well, our town council is going to review all this anyway,
They
right?
gotta review the warrant. I'm sure they can't wait to review all of these bylaws.
I just want to make sure that this doesn't go any further
Right.
Mhm.
than required by the outcome of the case.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely does.
And there's a lot of legalese in here, so I think you gotta be a lawyer to really
Yeah.
absorb all this.
All right. And this one, Ann may want to speak to the open space communities bylaw. Do you want to talk to that at all? Planning board, but.
The Cox property is the first property that the open space subdivision bylaw's been used on, and as the planning board has been working through it, they saw that there's some gaps in it, and so we're just trying to make the changes so that it'll just, the bylaw will move along more smoothly. And the zoning bylaw review committee, they are the ones that pulled it together, the changes.
All right.
This is gonna be a long meeting.
Looks like there's two of them, because Article 30, it almost looks like, is that the same thing?
Looks like you're correct.
Did you put that in there twice?
I think
That would be awesome if it's
you
true.
did, yeah.
It looks to me like 28
Same thing.
and 30 are the same.
Save some paper.
28,
You just call me Eagle Eye.
Well, we would have figured it out in 2 seconds anyways, bud.
What's that?
We would have figured it
Do
out in
you
2
see-
seconds
see,
anyways.
There's an article in there, 28, that's the same as the one above. This thing is so,
Just can't let me have it, can you, Chris?
No, I can't. Sorry,
all right,
bud.
which one am I deleting?
Strong work.
30.
Hold on, it's so hard to see them.
29.
Right, 28 too,
29.
or 29.
Okay, why don't I do you a favor? Let me delete it for you, because I can delete it real quick, and it's gonna take you longer to delete it,
Why would it do that?
because I bet you don't do it the same way I do it.
We have the, what's
Highlight
this?
it all and press back.
I don't know the number of this. Assessor's salary line item.
Right, that's coming out, because we already did
That's-
it.
okay,
That's
we
the
are.
one I thought I forgot.
Oh, right.
Turns out, it's actually in there.
Sounds dirty, right?
So there is another one, though. There's another article. It's for the solar
Buried in-
photovoltaic.
The overlay,
Yeah,
they want to add in the school. Is that right?
right. That says Article 31.
Mm-hmm.
Where, property record data card maintenance, we already talked about that. You are history.
What number are you on now? You're confusing me.
I went all the way down to the end, worked backwards, since I know that there's only one article after open space bylaw, and that's solar photo, whatever it is, that's the last one. So now I'm going back to delete those two that were in between.
She's taking out 30 and
It's
she's
just so
taking out.
hard to scroll and put them in. If you try to minimize it, it doesn't
Wait a
help.
minute, so 30, the one about the assessor's property record?
Yep, that's
card?
coming out, that's.
Why, is that a duplicate?
Yeah, that's the one I thought I didn't include and added up above. I thought I missed it. I only missed one of the two.
So we only have one more to go over.
Right.
It's just the,
I gotta stop getting up at 4:30.
Yeah, you do.
um,
Well, at least on Mondays.
I thought we were only supposed to do this once every 2 weeks.
What?
I'm only teasing you.
I'll see you next Monday, and then the following Wednesday, and then the
Come on.
following Monday, and then the following.
Well, I don't have an issue with
I'm
the,
teasing you.
I'm
with
here
this
every day,
one.
so,
I can't even delete these cells.
I don't mind.
Does anyone have any problems with this article?
We need to work on the wording though with council, because
Yeah.
I think it can be neatened up a bit.
And this
Impressed with the
20
use of a watermark there.
All right, that's it then.
I wouldn't dare try to put any pizzazz in there,
So
Rich.
the
I
idea
know
that
you
they're gonna-
you would
they're gonna change the wording
fish
and
it out
everything?
so fast.
They gotta work on the wording there, apparently.
Okay.
I know where not to tread.
What is it that you have to change? Do you know?
Well, you'll see where the asterisk, it says revisions required,
Right,
Article 5.
there's some
It's just
language in there.
some-
I don't know what actually is the
Yeah.
language that's staying in and what's coming out with this.
Okay.
So I
But
just cut and
But
pasted
the
it all.
purpose
and
of the article is to include the school, Misco School into the overlay.
Correct.
Okay.
That is an accurate statement. So 28 was open space. And
right.
29 is planning board. So we only have 29, actually.
Hot dog.
All right, is there anything else?
And we're gonna have less now because we're pulling some of these off, right? I shouldn't have bothered to renumber them.
Kim, do you have anything else?
No, I do not.
Okay, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.